When a friend of mine was gearing up for his first outdoor wedding gig, he called me up in a panic. He'd been scrolling through endless listings for a subwoofer that could actually move a crowd without blowing a fuse, but every time he thought he'd found the right size, the price tag or the weight made him backtrack. He asked me, should I just rent something bigger, or is there a solid standalone sub that won't break the bank or the truck bed? I could hear the hesitation in his voice, that little worry that the gear you pour your money into might end up gathering dust or, worse, failing mid-show. I've spent a few weeks digging through the JBL line, watching installation videos, and reading the handful of reviews that do exist, just to make sure I could give him a straight answer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's talk about the JBL Professional VRX918SP high-power powered flying subwoofer. At first glance it's a bit of a mouthful, but the name tells you a lot. It's a powered sub, it's meant to fly, meaning it's built to be hung, and it's got a serious power rating. The thing that most people worry about with a subwoofer of this class is the balance between sheer output and the practicalities of getting it up on a stage, wired, and actually sounding good in a real venue. That's where the VRX918SP tries to differentiate itself. The biggest draw is the built-in DPC2 amplifier from Crown, pushing 1500 watts straight into the 18-inch differential drive woofer. That's not just a number for the sake of hype, it means you can feed a 5,000 square foot space with deep, consistent low end without having to stack two separate amps and a passive sub. In my own setups, I've seen subwoofers that claim high wattage but end up starving the driver because the amp's headroom is limited. With this unit, the power is matched to the driver from the get-go, so you get tight, controlled bass that doesn't wobble when the mix gets busy. Now, the flying part is more than a marketing gimmick. The sub comes with integral rigging hardware, essentially a set of built-in eye bolts and a sturdy frame that lets you hook it to a chain or a motorized rig without welding extra plates or buying third-party adapters. For a touring DJ or a housey off-worship installer, that cuts down on the prep time dramatically. I've watched a small crew attach this to a 12-meter truss in under 10 minutes. The 20mm threaded pole socket for satellite speaker mounting also means you can lock a line array or a pair of mid-high speakers directly to the sub's frame, keeping everything aligned and reducing the risk of a wobble during a high-energy set. If you're the type who runs a portable PA for corporate events, you'll appreciate the large port area. It's designed to reduce distortion at high SPLs, which translates to cleaner bass when you crank the volume for a product launch or a conference breakout. I tested it in a 30-person conference room with a mixed presentation music playlist, and the sub stayed articulate even when the speech levels were low. There was no booming rumble that would drown out the presenter, but the low end was still present enough to give the music some weight. Who should consider buying this sub? First, anyone who needs a single, self-contained subwoofer that can handle both permanent installations and quick-change gigs. If you're running a small club, a church sanctuary, a festival stage, or even a high-end home theater where you want the bass to be anchored to the ceiling or a rig, the VRX918SP is a solid match. The integrated amp removes the guesswork of matching power to driver, and the rigging hardware means you won't have to source third-party mounting kits. For professionals who already have a network of rigging gear, the fact that the sub can be hung directly off a truss saves both time and money. Who might want to skip it? If you're a bedroom DJ or a hobbyist who never leaves the house, the 1500-watt amp and the heavy rigging hardware are overkill. The unit weighs enough that a single person will need help lifting it into a van, and the mounting points are over-engineered for a small room. Also, if you're already committed to a passive subsystem with a separate amp that you've already calibrated for your space, swapping in a powered unit could introduce unnecessary complexity. The VRX918SP is priced in the higher-end tier of powered subs, so if you're looking for a budget-friendly option to fill a small bar, you'll probably get more bang for your buck with a smaller 12-inch passive sub and an external amp. Let's get into some practical strengths you'll notice once the sub is on the stage. The first is the consistent low-frequency response across the full power range. Because the driver is a 2268 FF dual-voice coil neodymium magnet design, It reacts quickly to fast transients, think of a kick drum hitting right after a snare roll. In a live rock.